Hiya everyone, I hope you're keeping well. I'm going to do a video on blood pressure, how to keep it down and how to look after yourself, hopefully without medication. So here we go. I'm going to make this a juice. It's quite a beetrooty one, but it's meant to be amazing for you and it does work. I can vouch for that. So first of all, I'm going to put, after I've drained it off, my celery. I put 3 sticks in usually, but today I'm going to put 3 big ones and then the rest, all the little bits and pieces, and just chuck it in. It's really good for you. So I've got my towel down, I've got my jug. I'm going to have to press on here because it goes everywhere. So off we go. Now we've got beetroot. I always use either 2 massive bulbs or 3 kind of medium ones. I'm going to chuck that in. Then I would say 2 thumbs of ginger. And then an apple. I usually use a jazz apple. They're quite big, they're very, very sweet. If you've got blood sugar issues, be careful which apple. I know that might sound silly, but it does kind of make a bit of a difference. Some of them are a bit more tart. These are quite tart. This is just a royal gala, chopped in half, and that goes in as well. So I'll get it all juiced and we'll see what happens. But it can make some people a bit cockly. And I ran out of apple yesterday, and so I put watermelon in instead, because I'm using watermelon in here as well with the rind. Get it all in. It's full of citrulline. It's meant to be really good for circulation, but I'm going to get to that in a minute after I've done this, because I've got loads to tell you. And there you go, that's what we've got. It's very earthy. It's quite there's like a heat to it with the ginger. The celery is amazing for keeping circulation going and blood flowing, and it's full of nitric oxide as well and iron, so it's really good for you and it will help. You drink this every day and you'll notice a massive improvement in your blood pressure, providing there's not something underlying causing it. We'll get to that in a minute. Right. Right, this part of the video is going to be a lot quieter than the first one. Right, so I've wrote loads of stuff down here because I think sometimes when you come on camera, I've watched videos before and people have gone on and on and on and on and on. They've never gotten to the point, and that's actually put my blood pressure up. So I've wrote loads of notes because I'm terrible for just forgetting what I'm talking about. But anyway, so first of all, hibiscus tea is really good for lowering blood pressure. Hawthorne berry tea, green tea, olive leaf extract, but also people talk about taking olive oil. Sounds disgusting, but as like a little shot, olive oil in the morning on an empty stomach. It's very hard because it's not what you want on a morning on an empty stomach, but people have said that they've lowered their blood pressure that way. And believe me, I've done research. I go to sleep thinking of this stuff because it's something that's big to me because I suffer with it as well. But celery juice is huge. I've just put that in the beetroot. Pomegranate juice is meant to be amazing, full of antioxidants, and it's meant to be great for circulation, blood flow. Melon juice, I said that, is full of citrulline. Water, and I'm saying water because sometimes when we're dehydrated we can feel your blood gets sticky and it won't push around as easy as it could if you were nice and hydrated. But there's also the thing where sometimes we get told to drink a load of water, where you drink 8 or 9 cups per your body weight or what have you, and sometimes it's too much for you because you can wash all your electrolytes, which, as you can imagine, it leads to blood pressure problems. You have to have a nice balance because your body will always try and compensate and it'll try and get you back to what it wants. So if you're doing something extra and it's pulling back, it can go wrong. So just be careful and only drink when you're thirsty, but try and keep hydrated. Lemon and ginger, sometimes on a night time, and this does work, but it doesn't work all the time. Where beetroot juice, I've drank it for every day and you get good results. Now and again, this do get you a good jumping points down. If you boil lemon juice with hot water, a bit of honey and some grated ginger, really good for you. The next day you'll have a lower reading. Again, try every other day or once every 3 days and to keep on top of it that way. There's loads of different ways you can attack it here. Cucumber juice, because it's a diuretic and really good for you. But potassium, if you can eat things that are full of potassium like potatoes, but you've got to be careful for blood sugar. So go for sweet potatoes, bananas, tomatoes, peppers. Get a load of vitamin C as well. Get things that are full of potassium and eat them. That can help as well. Right, there's one amlodipine. I can't pronounce it properly. It's a blood pressure medication. It's actually a calcium channel blocker. But magnesium is a natural calcium channel blocker. So if you can get a lot of magnesium in your diet, it's very hard these days because they say that the way agriculture is and the way we farm our foods, it's depleted in my diet. But if you can eat magnesium rich foods in your whole meal, a lot of your cereals contain this stuff, you know, even though I'm not a massive advocate of cereals because of the sugars. You get plenty of fish and omega-3 oils. I think it's omega-3. Yes, not the 6. Not 6 because 6 is bad. Omega-3. Cod liver oil is another good one. Now I did have a good effect with cod liver oil a while ago. I used to take it every morning religiously. It's not very nice, I've got to be honest, but it did actually work. It helped lower my blood pressure. Another one here, if you're feeling, because they say high blood pressure is a silent killer and you don't feel it happening, you do. If you've got high blood pressure, you know what I'm talking about here. You can feel it when it's up. And sometimes it's a really uneasy feeling. You feel quite agitated, you feel like you're going to jump out your own skin. It usually coincides with a bit of adrenaline, maybe your heartbeat's going a bit thumpier than usual. You'll feel hot in the cheeks, you'll feel like a tingly in the back of the head. That's your blood pressure. And I have quite often where it'll get like that for me because my nerves are shot to hell, and sometimes if you're stressed it can go up as well, and I think that's where I'm on that loop. I've got anxiety which causes it, and so for me and for you who, if you're out there and you've got like, is it the white coat syndrome where you're in the doctor's office, you're fine, and then all of a sudden boom, you see that machine and your blood pressure goes up. Mine is the same. It's terrible. You're never going to get a good reading, are you? You're not going to get a real reading. So you want to do breathing exercises for you, and that's 6 breaths per minute. Give it a try. It really does work. If you've got the guts, because it's hard, I know, because I've got a machine in the house, but because of my anxiety about blood pressure now, I find it very hard to take my own blood pressure in the house even. But if I get to a point where I feel quite relaxed and think, right, okay, I'm going to go for it. It's always high on the first reading. Do your breathing exercises and you lower it right down and it'll go below normal or just normal, and it's a massive improvement. I was put on medication. I was on losartan, potassium, and I didn't have a very good reaction at all. I was first put on Ramipril, and again, horrible reactions. The first time I ever had all the racing heart stuff happened when I went on that stuff, and I don't like it at all. I felt worse on it than I do off. But that doesn't mean I know I need to leave it, because blood pressure left unchecked, it's damaging. I'm not daft, but I do often wonder, am I being silly and not taking medication? But then I keep thinking back to the fact that it doesn't agree with me and I don't like the side effects. I really don't like the side effects. And I have read enough to know that unfortunately it causes other things that you need to be looked after by the doctor for. And so I don't agree with putting a plaster on it. I agree with trying to look for why you've got it. And I think with me it's anxiety and nerves. Because they say if you lose, I think it's 5% of your weight even, you can have a nice drop. You can, if it's what's causing your blood pressure. But I lost 4.5 stone, and if anything, mine's gone through the roof compared to what I used to be. All because I used to be more chilled out, didn't overthink, wasn't anxious. And I think that's why it works for some and not for others. Another good thing that can help warm showers, because when you're cold your blood pressure will naturally go up. So if you keep nice and warm but not too hot, that can be nice and all, because when you get too hot you can get irritated. Foot soaks, I use Epsom salts. It's a good way of getting your salts in, but with blood pressure you've got to be a little bit careful, because some people can be salt sensitive, and all it means is you're retaining sodium, because your body retains fluid if you have salt, and that can also put your blood pressure up. But it doesn't happen with everybody. I'm usually okay, but if I go through a phase where I eat crisps, and we sometimes do the Coleman's packets where you stick a chili con carne mixture in and that, I can feel it. I can feel a little bit of a, must be my blood pressure going up off all the salt held. So just be careful with that, but don't be terrified of salt. Natural pink Himalayan sea salt or just white sea salt. Make sure it's not the processed stuff off the table. But if you just be careful with it, you can still have it, and it's got good vitamins, it's got good minerals in it anyway, so don't be scared of it. Just be careful. Grounding is absolutely huge. We're all walking around with plastic shoes on and rubber bottoms, and if you just take your shoes off, this is why I want the garden done, because I've got nowhere to pace out there. Now that might sound daft, but if you walk around, if you go to the beach at night and you walk on the sand, you feel amazing. And I think it's because you've discharged all that pent up energy and electricity, because we're all electrical at the end of the day, and it really does make you feel fantastic. And we're always up high in a bed, next to electrical sockets, and everything's false, it's not right, it's not how we're meant to be living, and I really think it's taking its toll on us as we go along. So if you can get your shoes off every now and again, providing the ground's clean and you know where you're going, don't walk in dog muck, because I nearly did that once on a walk. I went to Cleedon, and you've really got to watch where you're stepping, but just get your shoes off, have a pitter patter on some ground out there in the fresh air. Not at the minute because it's cold, you probably slip, but do it, have a try, you'll see what I mean. You will feel better, and it's amazing. It gets everything in sync, because I think we're very out of sync, and I think that's what causes a lot of our problems these days. The other thing before I go, because I'm going to leave it at this, your hormones massively affect your blood pressure. Another thing that doctors don't really have time to look into, or I don't know what goes on, but I think they're quick to give you a pill, which you've got to be careful, because once you go on them things, your body stops balancing its blood pressure itself, because it doesn't have to, you're putting a pill in there. So obviously when you come off, you've got to be careful. I weaned off with the help of the doctor. She knew what I was doing, but obviously they're not happy about you weaning off it, because they need to tell you that you could be damaging yourself if you don't take your blood pressure medication. But I think as long as you get everything in way, you should be fine. The other thing was walking. I know some people aren't always able to do that, but if you can move for at least 30 minutes a day for 5 days a week, does make a difference. Every day I walk into work, it's about a 30-40 minute walk. I feel amazing. I definitely feel a difference, and I'm calm that night. But if I don't, and I feel like I've got too much adrenaline or pent up energy, I just don't feel as settled at night, and I presume that's because my blood pressure hasn't lowered as much as it would have wanted to. So there's loads of different things to do, but exercise is massive. And I also heard that if you exercise heavy with your legs, that'll bring your blood pressure down as well. But if you're at the gym, be careful, you don't want to push it too much. I certainly don't, I'm very careful, but you don't want to be scared either. So yeah, and if you do decide to do all this, let us know how you get on, because it's interesting. We've all got high blood pressure for different reasons, and it's trying to find the root of why you've got it so you can work on it. And sometimes putting a plaster on it's not the answer. The doctors do usually say to you, go away, do some exercise, look after yourself, and then if it's still high, come back. But some of them are really snap happy and they'll give you a prescription straight away, which is not always what you need. Especially some of the numbers I've been told people have been prescribed blood pressure medication on. When I think about it, I think no, a couple of high readings like that in a doctor's office doesn't warrant a medication. But then I'm not a doctor, and I can't say these things. I'm just speaking for me and what I've read and what I know and what I talk to people about. But anyway, I hope this has helped you. Let us know if you do have blood pressure problems and you've done something that's successful. let us know, because I'll be interested in hearing more as well. And I hope you're all keeping well. I'll see you all in a bit. Zoom zoom.